Hey guys, Barry here with Epic Cycles, and today we're diving right into the bike lane drama here in Toronto.
To rip up bike lanes.
Remove bike lanes.
Axe bike lanes across the city.
Lanes to be ripped up in this city.
To rip out bike lanes from major streets in Toronto.
We're paving the streets with gold.
So, as many of you have heard, our officials are seriously considering to rip out and remove all the major bike lanes and major arteries of the city on Bloor, Yonge, and University. I think this is going to be a huge setback, especially to the cycling community who depend on cycling in Toronto every single day. So let's go take a ride on the contested bike lanes that they're planning to rip out. I like these lanes already. Look at this. I got a nice shield protecting me. Of course, that's how everyone's going to feel. So let's do this. Now we're here riding on one of the major bike lanes here in Toronto on Bloor Street. No cars in the way, no cars parked on the street. It's just a nice, beautiful, clear path that feels safe and easy to ride through. You got the barriers up, which really act as shields, protecting riders to just ride freely and move from point A to point B without any fear, without any congestion. Just go, right? It's really amazing, and most major cities have bike lanes, and it's a way to promote more people to get out and ride safely, feel comfortable, and it really doesn't. There's no congestions. Like, if you rip these lanes out, what are they proposing for cars to be parking parallel on the streets? That's going to cause even more congestion. These bike lanes, they take probably 1/3 of a lane versus a car that can take up more than half, or a full lane, really, right? So what's the difference? I really don't know and can't fathom to understand. So look at these beautiful bike lanes here on Bloor with the protected barriers. I really feel safe, comfortable, cruising nicely. By ripping these out, how am I gonna ride, or how's the city gonna wanna ride bikes on the streets and feel safe? Like, I can comfortably go at my own leisure without worrying cars cutting me in or out, or even door jams, which are occurring all the time with cars parked on the side of the roads. It's really a shame that they are actually planning on ripping this very lane that I'm riding on right now here in Toronto. Definitely taking a step backwards rather than forwards. The city always talks about green initiatives and going green and moving forward. Why are we moving back? It makes absolute no sense. And I'm sure many of you agree with me. I'm sure many of you don't. But I want to hear your comments. Like, how is it going to be different? Like, look at the cars. There's still cars parked here. And we rip out the lanes. There's still going to be cars parked just on this side. And where are the cyclists going to go? Like, we're supposed to be promoting more people to get out to cause less congestion, but it's just going to promote more cars on the road, right? So really something that's mind-boggling. So just a few years ago, the city spent about $25 million to put these bike lanes in over here where we are right now. And now with the new proposition, they want to spend about another $48 million just to pull them out. I don't know. How does that make sense? Are they going to realize they made a mistake in a few years and spend another $25, $30 million or more to put them back in? It kind of is counterproductive, right? What do you think? What do you think? Comment below. What do you think about that? I know everybody has their own opinion. A lot of people are definitely for it. Many people are against it. But overall, there's just no sense to it, and it is definitely taking a step backwards towards many things, like an attack really on cyclists and people that depend on riding. Like even look, motorcyclists right there on a scooter. How is he going to ride on the street with cars? It's just not possible. People enjoying free ride here. It's in the city, getting around, and that's all going to go away, unfortunately. We're midday here in Toronto on Bloor Street, and as you can see, the flow of traffic is moving nicely. Yeah, sure, there's periods of congestion during rush hour where, you know, there's a lot more cars, but that's just a short period. But overall, it's pretty open, easy, nice flow of traffic, as you can see, and cars are moving, cyclists are moving, everybody's getting around just fine. So where is the sense in all of this? Moreover, we still got plenty of parking. Look, cars are parked, people are moving, cyclists are moving, everybody's happy. Why are we making changes? Why are we taking this away? Why are we going backwards? Not to mention pedestrians as well. Pedestrians are safer too. I mean, look how far away now cars are from the sidewalks. So it acts as a barrier for cyclists, for pedestrians. Really, it's a win-win for everybody. Like, cars are not gonna win anything extra from ripping out these bike lanes, but it will hurt, definitely, cyclists, the future of cycling in Toronto, and much more, you know. So let's talk facts. The city says that since they introduced these bike lanes, cycling increased by up to 56%. That's 56%. That means more people are ditching cars for alternatives, green alternatives of cycling, meaning less congestion. And also another fact, that accidents with cycling since they introduced the bike lanes are down 44%. Those are huge numbers. That's nothing to shrug off, right? So here we are, comfortably cruising down Bloor Street on the bike lane. You know, I'm seeing a lot of cyclists here, as well as motor and scooter cyclists like the one just up ahead of me here. So it's really a safe haven, not just for cyclists nowadays, but as well for e-bikes, e-motos, scooters, and whatnot. So many people obviously use it and depend on it. So here we are now in the annex, and businesses here have seen also a rise in spending, especially from cyclists too, who stop more easier and frequently just to grab whatever they need. So again, I feel super safe, super comfortable riding on these bike lanes. It's I'm not worried about a car clipping me because I'm secured, I'm protected. We've got barriers and a designated lane for cyclists. Again, cars still able to park, cars able to pass by, and nothing has changed. These bike lanes really are not that big. Again, maybe half a lane at most. So what's it gonna do to rip it out? Cars will just be parked a little bit more over. Can you fit another car in this area? Probably not, right? So who does it bother? Again, it's high noon here in Toronto. Traffic is moving smoothly and freely, and really these lanes are not affecting anybody from what I can see and gather from this ride right now. And recently, with the big influx of e-bikes, scooters, and other personal electric vehicles, riding has soared in popularity, and it's just getting more and more popular. So more and more people will be depending on using their personal electric vehicles or bicycles to get around. So again, where's the infrastructure going to be for these people that are going to depend on it? And also, let's not forget that not everybody can afford the expense of vehicles, insurance, gas, especially with the high cost of living today. So what do they depend on? Affordable commuting, such as bicycles, personal electric vehicles, or whatnot. And then of course there are children who don't even have licenses that they want to get around as well. So, and they can feel safe riding on these bike lanes. You really want to see children riding on the streets with cars with probably 46% more chance of getting clipped by one, potentially causing severe injury or, God forbid, death. No. So these bike lanes are, in my opinion, very important. Again, like I said before, everybody has their opinion, and I can appreciate everyone's opinion. And I'd like to hear your comments to what you think and why you think they should remove it or shouldn't remove it. Let's get a discussion here started. But again, in my opinion, I'm obviously for the bike lanes, and I don't see an issue with having them in place. I see it as a progress into the future and to, you know, more sustainable commuting and options for people all around. I mean, look at this bike lane. Go. They just put this in a couple months ago. It's like brand spanking new. And the lights for the bicycle signal, it's beautiful. And you want to just rip it out now. It's a real shame. It's okay. Now we've taken a right off of Bloor Street to Queen's Park and heading down to University. This is another section where they're proposing to rip out the bike lanes. Another major hub. So one of the unique aspects of cycling is that you could really blend in with everybody. Like I'm riding here through a park right now, and I have the total freedom to do that, where with a car you can't. So here you can really, you know, travel easily and freely where you want. And I mean, obviously you can argue then why do you need bike lanes, because you could ride anywhere, but the bike lanes, you know, serve as those major hubs to get to point A to point B, so you can roam around freely and safely. So again, I mean, look at this street. Barely any cars. We got 3 lanes for cars and 1 small bike lane. You know, in London, in the UK, most of their streets are just single lanes. They don't have multiple big lanes like we do here. Yet, they still have bike lanes. So here we are on Yonge Street, one of the busiest streets in Toronto, another spot where the bill has passed to rip out these bike lanes, these little 1/3 of a lane bike lanes. So let's keep riding and see how it would be without it. Again, I feel protected. I got my barriers here. Obviously, there's a lot of people using it. You can see riders on both sides. People using it from day-to-day commutes. People are using it, and this is just like, you know, obviously all year. It's still pretty chilly out, and people are using it. Imagine as the weather gets better, a lot more and more people will be using it. So every major metropolitan, literally every single one, has bike lanes in their most populous areas, and Toronto is no exception. However, Toronto, for whatever reason, is ripping out bike lanes. Instead of adding more, they're taking them away. I mean, cars still, single lane here, but cars still parked here, as you can see again. Traffic is still flowing. The bikes are still flowing. Things are moving. Things are shaking. Things are moving. The flow of traffic is good all around for everybody. So I just spoke with this gentleman right in front of me here who uses this lane. He tells me every single day to do his courier and deliveries, food delivery mostly, primarily. And he was not impressed or happy about what's about me telling him that they're going to rip up this bike lane. And yes, of course, you know, majority of people, they don't cycle. They just ride cars, so they don't see, you know, the point to have these bike lanes. They think it's just something that gets in the way. What do we need it for? But I don't think they're realizing the big picture of how many people actually do depend on it. And again, not everybody has a car. Not everybody could drive. I'm fortunate enough that I do have a car. I do drive every day. But, you know, from time to time, I myself, not a daily commuter, I do enjoy to take a ride around the city. And with the freedom of using these bike lanes. But there are people not like me that solely depend on cycling to get around. It's their way of life. It's their business. A lot of people here, delivery couriers, you know, that ride from day to night, they use these bike lanes, right? Not to mention a lot of business professionals in the city, they use the bike lanes as well to commute to and from work. So, you know, it's just gonna hurt those people really, the most anyways. It's gonna hurt the leisure riders, such as myself, that don't necessarily depend on the bike lanes, but it'll hurt the people that it really does depend on the bike lanes. And you could see many of them today out. You could tell who rides every single day. So are these bike lanes perfect? Probably not, you know, but instead of spending money to just rip them out, maybe we should just be spending a little bit of money to make them more ideal for everybody. And look at this brand new constructed bike lane. It's immaculate. Just built, taxpayers' dollars, hard-earned dollars to build this just a few months back, just to rip it out now. It's kind of a bit of a slap in the face over there too. And lots of cyclists, lots of riders, lots of people using this lane, obviously, right? Safely, moving efficiently. Just stopped here on the intersection of Bloor and St. George. I just want to point out how nice they've made the bike lanes here. So this is what I was talking about before, how most of the bike lanes, they might not be perfect, but here is an example of where I feel like they've perfected it. It looks great. They spent a lot of money, and the flow of traffic goes. It kind of feels like it's completely out of the way. And I think that's where the money needs to be spent, is to keep this type of bike lanes going throughout the city, throughout those lanes. By doing this, everybody will win, everybody will be happy. Why can't you do this? Keep doing this. Why you gotta rip this out? Makes no sense. And the way that these bike lanes are designed is to keep everybody in their spot, in their place. Cars are away, pedestrians are away, cyclists have their own lane, and it's just very well thought out and organized right here. Perfect example. Look at this. Rider, scooter rider, pedestrians, and vehicles all separated. Flow of traffic between all pedestrians, vehicles, cyclists, moving freely and out of each other's way completely. Everybody wins, everybody's happy. So you use these bike lanes, I guess?
I do.
Almost every day, or?
Every day I go to work, yeah.
Every day you go to work, okay. And what are your thoughts on them, on the city ripping out these bike lanes here?
I guess my overall arching thought is that they didn't put them in the right places, and they put a few too close together.
Yeah.
They just needed a couple of really good north-south and a couple of really protected east-west, instead of kind of randomly short ones that just die.
Yeah, I think that's what we were saying too. Like not all the lanes are perfect, but they definitely serve a purpose and a good use for people.
For sure.
And I'm sure like using them, like what's the difference about with having them or with not having them?
Oh, for sure. Having them is far safer, because I've been riding I'm 70. I've been riding most of my life, and it's really dangerous in this city now. It's gotten more worse. The cars are more aggressive. They don't look. You get hit by mirrors. People just cut you off. It's sketch. So if you don't have a lane, you're really at risk.
Yeah. So these bike lanes you would say are important for cyclists like such as yourself that use it
Totally
on a daily basis. Yeah.
You know they're going to rip these out in like a month or something.
This one?
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as they've got a good east-west one that we can use, we don't need one on every street. I think that pisses drivers off. But we got to have good ones that are very clearly separated from traffic.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Enjoy your day. Still have your cars parked here in the middle. It's again, how I said, very organized. And if you're gonna have the cars parked all the way on the right, when they remove these lanes, you're still not gonna have enough room for a second lane. So again, what's the point to destroy this amazing infrastructure that we have built in this awesome city, just to downgrade it? Makes no sense. Again, a step backwards. Yeah, skateboarders using it as well. It's like I said, there's all sorts of people using it. Scooter riders, Vespa riders, bicycle riders, e-bike riders, skateboarders, EUCs. It's great. So I think the date set to rip out these bike lanes that we're riding on right now is set for April 20th, 2025. So just a few weeks away. There's already an engineering firm that has been contracted and hired to redesign it. And I mean, there are some people trying to stop it still in terms of for safety reasons. And so Cycle Toronto has launched a court injunction. They're trying to stop this from happening. Hopefully they can make a difference and actually stop it. That would be amazing. And a huge victory, I think, for everybody, for the city, and for the people of the city, and for overall, safety and travel. So another thing I want to briefly mention is, don't they realize that when they get rid of these bike lanes, they're basically going to force all these cyclists that you see into traffic with the cars? Don't you think that will slow down the cars? People stopping, being more careful, maybe the vehicles being ultimately more frustrated than they are with the bike lanes, because there's going to be a lot of honking, a lot of fighting, and unfortunately a lot more accidents, no doubt, right? By the way, today for this documentary, I've chosen to ride the Magnum Pilot step-through commuter bike. It's a beautifully designed bike, features a mid-drive motor with torque sensor, so it gives it a very natural feeling, like you're pedaling yourself, but with extra power, of course, and longevity. It's actually my first time riding this bike, like for a proper ride, and it feels great. It looks great, easy to jump on and off easily. That's why it's a commuter bike, commuter step through. So it has nice beautiful tires. I love the 3-inch tires. The thickness makes it very easy for going over any curbs or bumps, or gives it that suspension. I definitely feel has a built-in suspension seat post, which feels great too, over the bumps, and as well as front fork suspension. An overall beautifully designed and great looking bicycle, perfect for commuting. This is one of the nicer step-through bikes I've ever ridden, I have to say. So here we are now on Dundas Street, Dundas and Bloor. We're going to head back to Epic Cycles in the Junction. This is what I'm going to call the bad and the bumpy, because there are no bike lanes here. So here we will be forced to integrate together with cars and see how it is different than being on a bike lane. So let's hit the road and do this. As you can see already, right in front of me, it looks messy, unorganized compared to no bike lanes. I'm gonna have to weave in and out of cars, putting myself a little bit in danger. Hey, what do you know? It's a Blue Rev Miami Vice. Nice bike, man. You see, I gotta stop a good front of this car. Maybe he doesn't see me, he can hit me. It's dangerous for everybody, even for the cars. It's dangerous because no car wants to hit a cyclist. They get frustrated when you're in their way. You can see an open lane ahead of me, but I got a parked car for me that I'm gonna have to weave around too. So. And now look how exposed as a cyclist I am here, with all the cars coming in and out. Obviously they're a lot bigger, a lot faster, and I have 0% chance of winning in the event of collision. I will lose 10 out of 10 times. But obviously nobody's nobody's a winner when it comes into an accident with a cyclist and an automobile. We just don't want to see it happen, God forbid. And the bike lanes, they really do protect the commuter, the cyclist, the guy riding to work, the Uber Eats driver, all these people. It protects everybody. It keeps them safe, confident, and allowing for more people to feel confident to ride and to commute. Not everybody will ride on a street with no bike lanes. I myself, I've done it before many times, so I don't mind as much, but I certainly would feel safer and much more comfortable on a bike lane, even though I've done it many times, right? So here we're approaching up a congested area, so I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit of weaving here between cars and getting really close. I don't know if one of these cars parked here is gonna suddenly open their door too and give me the old door prize, which is also very common when there's no bike lanes. The most common sorts of injuries, people just opening their doors randomly. That's why I'm trying to ride as close as possible into the car lane, into the other lane when there's cars parked on the side. Here's some more cars. I'm gonna go in the middle. Hopefully, yeah, this guy reversing, cut me off. Sit. Look at all the parked cars too. Over here, it's could have a bike lane. So you don't need parked cars here, Do something about it. Fix infrastructure here. Anyway. All right, guys, so we've ridden the good, the bad, and the bumpy. We rode on bike lanes on Bloor Street, University, and Yonge. They're truly packed with riders that feel safe and can get around freely. This is what makes Toronto awesome. Unfortunately, the province has decided to take out some of these bike lanes that we were riding on today. We feel it's a shame, but everybody has their opinion.
We're paving the streets with gold.
And we'd like to hear your opinion. So, if you can comment below and let's get some discussion going to see why you think it's a good idea that they rip it out, why it's a bad idea. Let's talk about it. But obviously we think there's different solutions. We're obviously at Epic Cycles and myself, we're pro bike lanes and want to see more of it, more sustainable and easy transportation for everybody, not just for cars. There's obviously a lot of daily commuters that you see every single day using them, and to them I think it's gonna affect a lot of things. As a few people that we spoke with gave us their opinions, and obviously yes, there's more cars, a lot more cars than there are cyclists. I get it, but again, not everybody can afford a car. Not everybody has a license or whatnot, and people need to be able to get around and feel safe to get around. So I don't know. Let's hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video and this topic of discussion, please give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps us, and every time you like it, it get this out to more people to view. Until next time, guys, wish you an epic day or night. Peace.
epiccycles.ca